Hey, Inspired Moneymaker. Today we're talking with a prolific self-published author, and his friends call him Mr. Consistency. Episode 220 features Michal Stawicki, best-selling author in personal development.
I was morbidly afraid of failure, and I had to fight it off, and so it's a part of my personal mission statement to be fine with failures.
Do you still fear failure?
Absolutely. Don't tell anybody.
I'm Andy Wong, host of the Inspired Money podcast and financial advisor at Runnymede Capital Management. Our guest today is Michal, who lives in Poland. He's a family man, married with 3 kids. On the surface, you might assume that he's a regular guy with a corporate job. Get to know him, and you'll find that he's an expert in personal development with his best-selling books. He's also a business owner with a book advertising agency for other authors called Resurrecting Books. He wants to make our world a better place through self-improvement and personal growth. He's also super transparent, blogging about his progress and setbacks. In this episode, you'll learn the importance of having a daily morning routine, balancing a day job and entrepreneurial activities, and tune into the end to hear whether Michal considers a book to be passive income or not. Now let's get inspired with Michal Stawicki. Michal, welcome to Inspired Money. I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited as well.
Let's jump right in. What's your earliest childhood memory of money?
Well, it's really hard to say. I don't have many vivid memories. I will talk about a couple, but I have no clue how early that was and which was the first one. So one of them was that I got some money in my piggy bank and took them, went out to the shop, which was just like 50 yards away from our apartment, and bought a snack. And like it was being self-reliant for one thing, and just having fun with money. The other is that I was very young. I remember for sure. I saw the 50 zloty, which is Polish currency, of course, because our neighbor gave money back to my mom, and I just grabbed it and hid it for myself. And soon I was discovered, and it was kind of a huge embarrassment for me. But yeah, those are the 2 early memories of money I have.
You're in Poland. Was
Yes,
it a
sir.
favorite Polish snack?
Yes, actually, paluszki.
So I'm really excited to have you on the show. I don't know how many books you've published. I counted near 20. Is it above or below?
I counted 19, and one of them is like redone public domain work, and a couple are just co-authored, and one is a conglomerate of my 5 other books. So pick a number.
Well, congratulations. That is an accomplishment. Most people cannot say that they've published a single book. So to have 19, it is really a testament to your dedication and your consistency. I've read a little bit about your past, and I was curious if you can share with us, what was your life like before October 2012?
It was a totally normal life, I would say. Day job, family, 3 kids, church community, and like now I'm active on Quora, and I'm answering people questions, and I answered a question about having above average lifestyle. And so I did a research and looked for like what does it mean to be average. I was average, like living from paycheck to paycheck, having some debt, slightly overweight, not so good health, and like I would say the common denominator of all of that was I was miserable in my day job. I feel unfulfilled, that, well, my potential is higher than that, but my self-worth was much lower than that. So I just couldn't start really doing something. And I lived in this misery for at least a few years.
What kind of work were you doing at that time for your day job?
Database administrator in Polish media company.
When you're doing that, when you're in the grind, you're going to work every day and you feel miserable. How do you break out of that? How do you initiate a change? How do you even know where to begin?
I think everybody knows where to begin, because this is my experience. Like, I avoided any self-analysis for 16 years. And then I sit down and figure out, like, maybe not life goals, but goals, things I wanted to accomplish and ways to accomplish them in 15 minutes. Like, all the answers were within me, but I was just too scared of looking for the answers. So what triggered me was reading the book The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And Jeff wrote this book based on Jim Rohn's philosophy, like the two sides of a coin. One is success is a few simple disciplines repeated over time, and failure is a few small errors in judgment repeated over time. So it's all about habits in the end, because they are repeated over time. And this book was such a great influence for me, because till that moment I thought, okay, success is something grand. Like Elon Musk is a success, yeah, and golden medal at Olympics. Silver, maybe not a success. Yeah, come on. That was in my head, and that's, I think, in the heads of very, very many people. So I didn't even try to succeed at anything, like, seriously. That way I was stuck. But when I heard, okay, it's just a few simple disciplines, and Jeff told in the book, okay, you think of what you want to accomplish, and then think of what you can do every day to inch toward those goals. And I was like, okay, maybe I can do that. Like, small things repeated over time. Okay, I should be able to do that. That's why I started, because it wasn't huge, and I broke it down into, like, daily level, like 10 minutes of speed reading, or 10 minutes of Bible study in the spiritual realm. So small things which I could do every single day. And after a month, I checked my reading speed. So I doubled my reading speed in a month with those 10-minute exercises. And I was like, whoa, it works. And I was sold. I decided, okay, I will experiment, like Jim Rohn said, until found ways to inch towards my goals until I reach them. And the rest is a history.
At what point did you decide that you want to write the first book?
Yeah, it took me some time. The whole journey was, first of all, I started absorbing plenty of personal development materials, and one of them was rereading The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And what really spoke to me from that book was to create your personal mission statement. Oh, that's quite a big challenge. The statement for your whole life, mission for your whole life. So it took some soul digging, and I discovered my childhood dream. Okay, I want to be a writer. Then I experimented with blogs, with writing fiction in Polish, and after like 8 months of just getting the idea, I want to be a writer. One of my friends commented on my blog post, said, okay, that could make a nice ebook. And I started writing the book in April 2013. Published it at the end of May, the same year.
So it was a progression. You could start with some blog articles, which can be shorter form, and develop your writing process and improve your skill, and then build up
and
to
there
a
will
book.
be dead ends, like writing fiction in Polish. I published it on the literary forum, and I got some critique, and it was a valid critique, and I was like, okay, to make money, and I needed to make money because I wanted to pivot from my old career. And I was thinking, okay, to make money, I need to train my craft for like 5 more years. Okay, that's not an option right now. That's why I was looking for other options. So dead ends are a part of the process. You won't be successful with your first attempt, or if you will be, that's more likely luck than anything else.
So that came into your process and thinking. You had to be practical, and you had a goal to make money. It wasn't this selfless, no money goal, because you did want to transform away from your day job and create some other income source.
Yeah, it was on a high level. I just wanted to have life that wasn't miserable, and I was sure that, okay, my day job makes me miserable. And like the first idea I had at the very beginning of my transformation was money related, because that was really what pushed me over the fence. I looked at my budget and then extrapolated it into retirement, looked at the amounts, and come on, this is not a way to live a not miserable life. I need more, and to need more, I need to start a business. But I had no clue how to start a business. Seriously. It took me a few years to offer anything to someone else, and come on, how long was that? Almost 7 years before I started my business officially.
So it's been 7-8 years since you published the first book. Clearly, you've kept at it with a very impressive consistency. What has that looked like for the day job? You slowly keep stepping away?
Yes, so it took me 5 years before I switched to half-time, or 6. It was 2016. Yeah, so 5 years, I suppose. And then another year, and I switched to quarter time, and I kept it quarter time because my wife thinks day job is a safe thing. And so I still working in the corporate world for 10 hours a week, but in a different company, and social environment is so much better then, and I have internal paths of growth, like I'm doing right now International Coaching Federation certificate, because I got the training in my day job. So but it was slow and steady, and I've been involved in some Facebook groups of entrepreneurs and online entrepreneurs, and actually that's the reality of it. Most people slowly exchange the new income, or rather the old income, the day job income, with the new income, and they switch to less days. Like I know one guy who is now very successful, Jim Jones, who like stopped working one day, then the other day in his day job, then only 2 days a week, and finally he quit his job. So that's pretty common. If I recall the numbers right, it's like true for 80% of people, and only 20% are so insane to, okay, I will quit my job and figure out something.
In the back of your mind, are there days where you want to cut that cord completely, or are you happy where you are, having this hybrid approach?
You see, like I think there is the reason behind everything, and I wasn't very comfortable in that situation for a year or so. But last year, so many good things happened in my day job that I'm so glad I kept it. I started doing workshops, personal development workshops for our team during COVID lockdown, and it really helped guys, and it really helped me. I discovered it. I love teaching, and now I'm thinking, okay, I will move away from just writing books into some workshops, training, speaking gigs, and so on, because I discovered it. I really love it. So yeah, there were many times that I was like, oh, I just want to quit this so much. But in the end, it worked out pretty well for me.
That's great. You're so passionate about personal development and personal growth. Share with us, how important is a morning routine or ritual? Because I think that is very big for you.
Yeah, my morning routine takes me almost 2 hours, and I'm doing all the things you can find in the Hal Elrod's The Miracle Morning. So reading, visualizing, exercising, journaling, and so on. And I actually created this morning ritual totally independently from Hal, just because, like him, I was following successful people who were doing that. I followed Brian Tracy, who said, okay, most of successful people have this golden hour in the morning. So I invented it myself, and it really helps me, and it helped me enormously to just stick to what I was doing, because working 12, 14 hours a day, having a full-time job, commuting 4 hours, and then writing in the evenings or what, it was exhausting. It wasn't easy, but my morning ritual gave me this boost of energy and motivation, and really I created my personal mission statement at the very beginning of my journey. So it was a centerpiece of this morning ritual, because I read it and I memorized it, and it's over 1,000 words long. And it gave me that sense of purpose. Okay, it's not for nothing. It's for this vision of myself at the end of my life. And this is really who I want to be. That's why I'm doing all those things. It's not just for the sake of money or any other thing. So, yes, my mornings help me to frame my mind and then hustle long hours. Right now, not so long. When I have just quarter-time job, I actually work 30 to 40 hours a week, and that's it, because I built the lifestyle. I paid the price to have this lifestyle.
Is it difficult to commit to 2 hours? Is that every morning?
That is every morning, and it's not difficult at all, because now it's a habit, and habits are so easy for human beings. We are wired to do things habitually.
What time do you wake up?
I don't have a set time, but it's usually between 5 and 7 a.m.
Okay, that seems civilized. I thought you were going to say 4 or something.
Well, there were times when I worked early, I had been starting my day job at 6 or 7, and I had to commute 2 hours And then I remember days when I woke up 3:30 a.m. and it was earlier just because I needed to do my morning ritual.
So you follow Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning, but then you've customized it to your
No,
own?
it's the other way. Like, I built my own because I picked something from Brian Tracy, from Jim Rohn, from other guys. And then when I heard about the Miracle Morning, I looked at it and, well, it's exactly like mine, because Hal created it the same way. He picked things that worked for many people, successful people, and I imitated them. That's why our rituals are so similar.
So summarize that for us. What did your morning look like this morning?
Okay, so I wake up, go downstairs, and exercise first thing in the morning.
How long?
I gallop very short, like 5 minutes, but I'm trying to make it intensive. I check my weight. Yeah, I step on a scale. I watch because I lost my weight at the beginning of my transformation. I prefer to keep it that way. So no yo-yo, no binge eating and so on. That's why I control myself every day. I come to my home office, which is, by the way, the room I'm in right now, and I spend some time on prayer, reading. I read in my Kindle fragments of 4 books which shaped my personal philosophy. So it's like a few paragraphs every day from each book, and I look at my vision board. And doing all those things like exercises, I repeat my personal mission statement in my mind.
What is your personal
Then
mission statement?
Oh, like I said, it's over 1,000 words long, and yeah, and it's in Polish. I never really translated it into English, just one time for a friend, like paragraph by paragraph. But the gist of it, like, is progress is my duty. Like, I want to progress every day. And it encompasses plenty of elements, like we talk about dead ends. I was morbidly afraid of failure, and I had to fight it off. And so it's a part of my personal mission statement to be fine with failures and other things. Where I was, okay, then I journal for 15 minutes. It's actually self-analysis. I ask myself a question. Today, the question was what I'm procrastinating on, and I got the list of like 10 items or so. After journaling, come on, it's so habitual that I need to pause and think what I'm doing, yeah? After journaling, I'm writing a thank you note for someone. Actually, it's like 2 steps. First, I open my journal and think of, okay, who am I grateful to and for? So I have the prompt ready. Then I look at one of the old prompts and write the thank you note and send it usually. Most of the notes I send are to people all over the world, so I do it online. And then I stretch myself listening to a podcast episode. And that's the end of the morning ritual.
I'm very impressed with the consistency and the dedication. What's your observation, since you're very thoughtful about your goals and your mission statement and what you want to achieve? What's your observation on money mindset for those who, have money or don't have money? Are there commonalities, or what do you observe?
Like I said, the money was my trigger at the beginning, because like I'm a numbers guy. So when I extrapolated the numbers, I was finally okay. Yeah, I cannot live that way for a few next decades, because this is what I will have. Like those numbers beat those reality into me. Do you know the fable about a howling dog who sit on a nail?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so this is like one guy had a dog which wailed a lot, and a neighbor asked him finally, okay, why this dog is wailing and wailing? Yeah, because he's sitting on a nail. Okay, so why he won't just get up? Probably it doesn't bother him that much. Yeah, so I have this discomfort in my life, this misery, but it wasn't discomfortable enough to start doing something about it. And this extrapolation of numbers caused that, okay, that was discomfortable enough to take action. And going back to the money mindset, I would say there are definitely two mindsets about money: scarcity mindset, abundance mindset. And I wouldn't say I reached the abundant mindset yet, but for sure I can say I was in a scarcity mindset. Like, this is how my parents raised me. My mother, she suffered hunger in the spring. Her family is big, 10 siblings, a farming family. So like that was very real for her, scarcity. So I just absorbed it, and it really, this was really what stopped me. Yeah, scarcity means, okay, you cannot fail because you have only so much energy and time, and if you fail, it's all wasted, and so on and so on. So it has plenty of repercussions on all the aspects of your life. And what really helped me was personal finance book. And what was that? Start Over, Finish Rich. Oh, I forgot the author.
Start Over and Finish Rich?
Mm-hmm. But like, I got one tip from that book, which was pay yourself first and save that way, instead of paying everybody else your bills, taxes, and so on, and then only, and of course groceries, and only at the end of the month, which was my way of doing things, because of the scarcity mindset. Okay, I need to secure my groceries and everything else before I can save something. And I started from like $60 a month, saved it, and at the end of the month, we didn't starve. We didn't lack. Okay, so that was working. The next month, the same happened. And I had $60 and next $60 at my savings account. So this small discipline opened my mind to more. And well, it was also the time when my mind seriously opened it, because of the extrapolation of my budget, and like I absorbed hours of personal development materials, and but getting it all together, I started doing things, and because I was in action mode, some of it gave me the results.
So Start Over, Finish Rich, that's David Bach's book.
Exactly.
And he's written some great personal finance books. Tell us a little bit about, when you have nearly 20 books, what kind of passive income can that generate? And I know you are very well known for using Amazon advertising to help drive sales.
So, like everything other than my personal development, I did it very like offhand, not much focus and so on. So at the peak of it, I made like $3,000 a month. Now I'm making over 1,000, and it's not entirely passive because of the ads. Yeah, I'm running them and supervising them, and also you can see the how it declined. Yeah, exactly, because I put less focus into my ads and working on my books, and started to focus on my business. So the really passive income is, I would say, not a myth, but hard to get. Like, I know authors personally who are making six figures, but usually it means that years before they worked very hard, like crazy hard, long hours. Like I have one of my customers, a romance author for whom I'm doing Amazon ads. She had been working 12 hours a day every single day for a year on marketing her books. And tadam, right now she has like 100 books or so, or at least 100 products in different languages and different formats and the like. And she's making a living from her books. But so it's like it's a tagline for Smart Passive Income podcast of Pat Flynn. You need to put work first to get this passive income later. So I won't say I was very diligent. That's why my passive income is in the range of $1,000. But I know authors who are making six figures, and it's, well, comparing to day job, it's passive.
So you mentioned that you're a numbers guy. Is it a matter of figuring out, like, how do you know how much to spend on the ads? And are you constantly reviewing that number? Because you have to net a profit, right?
Yeah, what I do with my business, and this is the model I love because I believe in like providing value and being paid from that. So I run ads with profit and we split 50-50. And for that, you need to, supervise the numbers. You are talking about how much I spent. Actually, when you make a profit, you are trying to spend as much as possible, which is also a challenge with Amazon ads. It's not so easy to scale them up, but this is the reality of it. But actually, like, it's again, not the greatest way to run your ads. The greatest is to have to use them like a business card and lead generator. So I also work for folks who have coaching programs or online trainings which are in the range of tens of thousands of dollars. So they are fine with spending $100 to get one lead, because it can translate into $1,000. So it depends on the author, but with a single book, for example, it's not so easy to really squeeze out much money out of Amazon unless it's a bestseller. Then Amazon really helps you to market it. But usually it means, or it always means, it's a great book and you put a lot of work into marketing it first. Then this flywheel of Amazon starts working to your favor.
Michal, you said that being a writer was a childhood dream for you. Do you advise most people to write a book?
I would say nowadays it's so easy to write and publish a book that that childhood dream is actually doable. And I know plenty of people who wrote a memoir just to document their life journey. That's it, because they want to leave the legacy for their children, grandchildren, and so on. And if I'm not mistaken, I heard some statistics about it that like 90% of people want to write a book, have something in mind, like the story of their grandparents or their own story, whatever it is. So yeah, I encourage everybody to write a book. It's not easy, yes, but actually writing a book, comparing to making money out of it, is very easy. Like, it's a finite process. You start, have the outline idea, you write it, edit it, publish it, the end. And then the really story begins.
If you want to sell it, yeah.
Yeah.
You had a quite challenging 2020, which you wrote very openly about in your annual Slight Edge report. What happened?
COVID happened. COVID and some other things. I had practically a monopoly in Canada for Amazon ads because it wasn't available for 99% of authors, but I had the account. So I used it to advertise my own books, my customers' books, and I was making 3,000-4,000 just from Canada. And then Amazon opened up this market to everybody, and competition really destroyed that leg of my business. That was one thing. And COVID, also with those supply chains for paperback books, which is the main bulk of my income and my customers, it's not the top priority item when there is a global pandemic. So the sales weren't very good. And like, to add insult to the injury, I got COVID in October. And COVID itself wasn't, like, for me, like a flu, 8 days in a bed with fever, that's it. But after COVID, this fog brain, like, it really destroyed me. I felt like constant discouragement, despite my morning ritual and all those rituals. So I'm like glad I have them. I wonder how people who do not have such habits survived. It was really brutal.
Well, I'm glad that you've made it through and you're feeling better and re-energized. Talk a little bit more about the importance of tiny habits.
Like, I would start from habits themselves, no matter the size. Research says that 40% of our actions are habitual, but they determine like 100% of our life, because the things you are not doing habitually, okay, one day you eat a hamburger, the other day you eat a carrot, and they nullify each other, nothing happened. But try to eat only hamburgers or only carrots, and it compounds. So that's the mystery behind habits. That one. The other is that if you look through the millennia of philosophers' works, and from like Greek to China, they all say the same thing, which is your habits make you. Your habits make who you are, really. That's very important. So whatever you repeat, it becomes a part of your identity, and then a part of yourself. Like, think of how many people are saying, okay, I'm a writer because I'm writing, I'm a runner because I'm running. Yeah, what you do determines who you are to a big degree. So those are two things. And the importance of tiny habits is that they are so easy. Like, they go under the radar of your subconscious mind. They don't trigger this resistance in you. It's a totally different story if you have this New Year's resolution. Okay, I will go to the gym every second day and pump iron for 1 hour. Yeah, of course it's doable, but for how long and for how many?
For
Who
most
knows?
people, not very
But
long. Usually by the
yeah,
end of
exactly,
January, it's no more.
exactly. So, and the tiny habit, on the other hand, okay, I will do one push-up. Okay, most of people are able to do one push-up. It's not a big deal. And then when you have the habit, think of it. Okay, you are on the ground already. You pushed one time. Like pushing the next time is easy, or the next five. Like you already have the habit. You are in the situation. Scaling up is so much easier than trying to develop this big habit from the outset.
And then is it the power of the people that you hang around with to kind of one, be accountable, but also to inspire good habits? Because I would imagine that you see many people, the easiest habit is to watch a few hours of TV every night, which is not very productive.
Yes, absolutely. That's like huge factor. PJ Fogg, head of Stanford University department about behavioral changes, he had some ideas what are the things that change people's lives, and the most reliable are tiny habits. But in one podcast interview he said, but I underestimated how much influence have social environment on us, people who are around us, people who say great job, keep doing it, or people who say okay, great idea, you will fail again, come on. All those influences are very, very strong because we are social animals. We are so social animals, and I also say that the best way to develop good habits is to be around people who have those habits, because we are mimicking machines. This is how kids are learning life. Yeah? They observe people around and they mimic, and we do it subconsciously. It's like you don't even have to try. Just be around fit people and you will get more fit, unless you consciously work against this influence. Like every time you are around them, you are like, oh, they're stupid, they are working so hard, and what for? And then maybe not. But if you are in a neutral state, it's natural that you will pick up habits, gestures, wording, everything. This is who we are.
So it is that time of year for New Year's resolutions. I think that many people, whether we read articles that talk about New Year's resolutions, and I think it's just natural at this time of year to reflect on the past year. What is it that we've achieved? What do we want to achieve next year? Can you give us some tips on setting long-term goals versus daily goals? Because I understand you're very big on the daily goals.
I would say your daily goals should be always within the picture of your big goals. Yeah, this is how I created my daily habits and this morning ritual, for example. Yeah, my personal mission statement is this big picture thing, like biggest picture, because I don't really know how I will arrive there. I'm open to whatever is on the way, and this really, when I look back in my 9 years of my journey, it was that way. Okay, I will try to publish a book. Okay, it's a success. Let's follow with another and another. And I will try affiliate sales. It didn't work. So those are just the means of this big picture. And whenever you have a goal, it may be 1 year goal or a 20-year goal, try to break it down and then try to figure out a daily discipline which will inch you toward that goal. That's like the good balance between daily and long-term goals.
And it makes sense. That's why you review your personal mission statement as part of your morning routine every day.
Yeah, it keeps me on the course. It's like my compass, yeah. I can strive away from it, and then I can see, okay, I'm not on the course, so let's change whatever I'm doing. And this is really what reading your goals is for, yeah, every day. If you read them every day and you are not following up, then it's like there is a gap between what you want and what you are doing, and you need to adjust. But if you don't control yourself with this, looking at the goal, you can drift away a long way from your goal.
Do you still fear failure?
Absolutely. Don't tell anybody. Yes, I do. Intellectually, I know, okay, like failing forward is the best way to succeed. But in the trenches, in the process, it hurts, fears, raises its ugly head, and you just need to go through it. And of course, like I was paralyzed by the prospect of failure 9 years ago. Now I'm just uncomfortable with it.
You don't embrace it yet?
Not yet.
But it is a practice. You keep.
Absolutely.
So, Michal, I like to ask all the Inspired Money guests, how do you define success?
Well, on a very personal level, I say success is doing God's will for my life. The troublesome thing is that I don't know what He wants from me most of the time. That's on a personal level. On the like applicable to everyone level, it's the quote from the Slight Edge. It's just a few simple disciplines repeated over time.
Well, it's often said that God works in mysterious ways, so it's not always clear.
Amen.
Can you tell the Inspired Money viewers and listeners where to follow you and where to find out more?
Okay, it's so nice to be a Polish guy in an English-speaking space. So you type my name into Google and Amazon will pop up, Medium, Quora, and my profiles. And my blog is expandbeyondyourself.com.
Expandbeyondyourself.com. I'll put that in the show notes. Thank you so much, Michal.
You are most welcome, and it was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
So what was your favorite Inspired Money moment? The magic word of this episode has to be consistency. Writing 19 books is a truly impressive accomplishment. I loved Michal's story about the dog sitting on a nail. Whether you've got a pain that's big or small, take action to initiate change. Try waking up this week with a morning routine. Read, reflect, and practice gratitude. See how it impacts you over the next 7 days. If you had a different favorite Inspired Money moment, let me know by posting a comment below. Thanks for watching to the end. I want to invite you to subscribe to my email that goes out every 2 weeks. The Runnymede investment team highlights data, news, and events that we think are worth sharing. Subscribe at inspiredmoney.fm/newsletter. It's free and informative. Thank you for joining me on this mission. Have an inspired week and do something that scares you, because that's where the magic happens.